Welcome to another video, and this time we are looking at the Swedish Civil War. So for the Civil War I have added a lot of key points that each rebellion can take. You can see some already have key points that they have taken, such as this guy over here. He has only one, but he can go over the coast where there might be cities or some strategic area that they can take. I don't know the geography of Sweden that well. I do know there's mountains, there's a lot of forests, but I do not know a lot of stuff before those things. I do know there's like two large lakes here, so when we get to those two, there will be like one narrow entrance. So, yep. There's someone like one is over here and one is here, and I don't know if there's three of them, but might be three. But let's get straight into the scenario and let's see what happens. So we see the red team start to move forward as well. Would you look at that? We see the red team move forward, taking a lot of land and trying to get to this strategic point over here. But also pushing down south and taking this small area. They also try to go a bit in the central parts of the land, but they don't really have any success. Over in the north, they do see a lot of success as their forces managed to push back the Swedish army and have a lot of success taking out another strategic point. But for the terrorist group, it won't be as lucky. It's surprise attack when the Reds were pushing, distracted the troops that were supposed to go to the Red front, but after they managed to take this area, they immediately lost it to the incoming Swedish forces. They were also pushed back quite a margin from the original taken lands, and they were pushed so far back, in fact, that they lost their second strategic point. Also, these strategic points are actually very much needed, because if you have a strategic point, you have either factory, something else, or who knows. But in the central parts, the Swedish rebellion, as I call it, or the Green rebellion, starts to make its moves very much clear, and it quickly takes on about two of the three what was it, strategic points near it that weren't captured. It does manage to get a lot more land before being stopped, but over in the central parts it has just moved too much and it cannot be dislodged from those lands. It has forces in the forest, it's fighting guerrilla warfare. It's like fighting people that have gotten used to the cold and all of that stuff against people who aren't actually ready for the cold. So yeah. Also, most that I can say of is that most of Sweden's population is like down here and not up here. So it's gonna be an interesting thing if I am correct, because I don't know very much about. Like I said, I don't know Swedish geography, nor economic or population or demographics. None of that. I don't know them. You can see the Greens have just bulged out and are now the biggest. But as they did that, they were actually distracting Northern forces, which actually helped the Finnish rebellion take a lot of strategic points and get a lot of coast. But they did not manage to take this, as there were forces there that were waiting for them. But in exchange for those forces being there, they abandoned R3 over here, which wasn't a good idea, as you can see. the Finnish rebellion has taken it, and it isn't quite looking good up north for Sweden, as they have just been cut off from the most northern parts and the border parts that they border Sweden with. And some of these areas start to immediately fall over, or like over here, well, near this last strategic point up in the north, which has forces around it. They made sure of that. They, by they I mean Sweden. Sweden managed to at least block the incoming forces from getting to the strategic point, sacrificing some mountain terrain, but it wasn't that much of a biggie until they got cut off, and their forces surrendered over here. Well, they haven't surrendered fully, but the Finnish forces, volunteer forces that secretly are arriving here, have pushed in and started to take a lot of land. So yeah, we also see Finnish forces from Finland that are volunteers at least, I can say that, come and help out the Finnish peoples, seeing them as oppressed and stuff, because current Sweden isn't actually aligned with Finland anymore. They are almost communist, almost a monarchist communist. That could work, but it won't, because yeah, I said so. The Finns managed to push a bit farther and are then stopped, but in the north it is too late, as Swedish forces are given the ability to go through Norway, but that doesn't very much work, and plus they have too little troops to do anything. They can use it against this guy, who is quite in a bad situation, but yeah, they eventually take out this strategic point, and at this point it is declared that the north is theirs. Well, in the central parts that we are visiting again, the Koreans have managed to take not only one, not only two, but three strategic points. As you can see, they have pushed at the cost of, well, nothing, and they have actually taken out a pocket of troops, gained a lot of equipment that they have salvaged. They have also pushed a bit over here to distract some Swedish troops from their actual plan, which is this. And there was no Swedish troops over here. They were all on this area and some over here up. But seeing this, the Swedish forces start to stop occupying these areas, these little towns or whatever, and start escaping the coast. By the coast, I can say. And eventually, the Finnish and Swedish rebellion meet up and decide to say, you know what? We're gonna be chill with each other. No fighting. Which is good, because well, both will need each other quite quick, because guess who entered the war? On whose side? Yeah, Finland decided to do a bit of trickery. So why did Finland join? Well, the Åland, or Atland, or something like that, I don't know what this is called in Estonian, nor in Swedish or Finnish. Åland is what I think. Well, it has been taken over by them, by Sweden, but some of it is still Swedish, so they invaded that and pushed south. But it was quickly made clear that they are here of their own thing. They are just doing this because they want to. So I'm gonna recolor that in. the Finns managed to push quite far into the Swedish coast and take at least only one. Oh my god, what was that? At least only one strategic point. Managed to also land a few more troops before taking another. So yeah, they have a perfect encirclement thing going on. If they do this, they can take three of these things, which are quite important. So yeah, we have that going on. On the southern Swedish rebellion, sees major success because the Swedish forces are just cut off from every side, and they don't have many troops left. I'm talking about Sweden. Sweden is having a lot of problems currently. They're having internal, external. Their politics are crumbling apart. They don't have a lot of politicians left that support the current regime. Those that do are in the cabinet and well stuff, or just support them behind the closed doors. But most that don't join the Reds or Greens. Not the Purples. You wanna know why? That's because the Purples have been destroyed. They held out in the strategic point, which was a small castle, but that got destroyed, and they were immediately taken back in. So over here, the Reds managed to at least land a few dozen troops, and the forces on this island were insufficient and just gave up as soon as this happened. So yeah, the Reds now control both islands. Oh my god, these two are almost the same size actually. Wonder why. But we also see the red team start to push towards the southern regions a lot more because they want that. It just makes them with them if they are over here. And they just evade a lot of strategic points before taking them, so. Yeah. Also, they have already taken this point and are going straight after this one. This one over here is managing to hold out, but it's still being threatened. Forces from here, Swedish troops and stuff, have started to give up, and as soon as they're encircled, they are taken out. Over here, we do see Swedish forces are being competent and managed to cut off that Finns, but the Finns managed to link back up and push in the center parts towards Stockholm, which they have now entered the outskirts of. And they managed to push a bit further. Some dozen lakes are in the way. They have lake land themselves, so yeah, they managed to take this strategic point, which allows them to quickly push down south and take a lot of land. So, yeah. What Sweden aims to gain of this is the help of, two puppets, because they might want to make a puppet area right here. Speaking of the north, yeah, the Greens are having a blast. And by that I mean they have just managed to help out the yellows in their endeavors and managed to create a solid upper front. They also sending troops to the green side, so yeah. As they're doing that, Swedish forces start to enter the outer parts of and some inner parts of Stockholm as the battle for Stockholm begins to take hold. A lot of these Swedish forces that are holding off the Finns well, taken from other fronts. So yeah, Reds, what are you doing? Reds, how far have you gone? Red, no, 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 no. Don't go up there. That's full of. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh no, 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 no. Yeah. Quick thing. Sweden had a lot of troops in that part of the Sweden Sweden, and those were its elites. It's elite of the elite. So yeah, but elite of the elite cannot be taken on directly because well, what happened was almost an encirclement happened when the when Sweden's elite troops tried to give up on this area as about 100 men were taken prisoner. And when shown what Sweden had done to the civilians that weren't ethnically Sweden, well, stuff happened, I can say. Over in the Reds, this part they have taken a lot of land, and they're just beginning to link up with with Finnish forces. They have a very good front line currently. The Reds, I mean, in the means that they have a lot of troops there. Eventually, the Finns, and Swedes over in the north see massive success, and it's just because, well, I'm just gonna tell you this. It's because Stockholm has now been fully taken. Stockholm has been lost. The Battle of Stockholm ended with a lot of Swedish casualties for the few Finnish, and at this point, Finland is going to stop when they manage to reach the Reds and take a few more strategic points. So basically, the Reds are going to now be the forefathers of this front, and Finland isn't very much wanting any more land. So yeah, we see Red team push quite far into Sweden, southern Sweden, and central Sweden, aiming to take the former purple land, and they have managed that. There are Swedish forces that are escaping to the Norwegian border and then crossing it, and then surprising by crossing the border again. But well, that doesn't very much happen a lot. So the Swedish forces in the south are quite incompetent, and some elite forces are also encircled and taken out by other elite forces that have given up. Over in the Swedish forces over here are like, you know what, we're gonna help out the Reds a bit, and well, they're not anymore just northern, they're central and northern, so yeah, they are trying to get as much land as they can before the whole thing just falls apart. And eventually the Swedes are seen like this. The Swedish Civil War has ended with the Swedish having a new government. We see something interesting happen as well. Instead of giving up some land to Sweden, Finland has taken Stockholm and some strategic lands, as well as annexed a bit of land from the north and taken another strategic point. Well, multiple actually, two of them. So yeah, We have red um, Sweden having made a pact with green Sweden, deciding to not invade each other and rather than that make an alliance. Red Sweden does get some stuff over here, mainly because well, yeah. We do see that these two unite as well. The Finnish populations from mainly over here. They just push the troops over here. So yeah, and this is how we see the stuff. There's a lot of colors. Well, I don't mind that. It's kind of looking beautiful. So, what are the current economics of this area going to look like? Well, Sweden has gained a lot more land, that's for certain. That hasn't changed a lot. Border regions are going to change. And the Samiland looks very appetizing for Finland. Speaking of appetizers, uh, yeah. So Sweden has now cut off. Well, Finland has now cut off what is formerly Sweden, and Finland now declares that it will unite with another nation to create Greater Finland. Guess who? Yep. Karelia has seen this longing in coming, so they really didn't fight against it when they were proposed this. Actually, they were waiting for it, so life was good for them until they got annexed. And life was better, a lot better. Like a ton better. Oh my god, oh my god. So yeah, we're seeing a very scuffed Finland. Um, trying to become imperialist Finland. So yeah. Uh, but now that that's done, we see something happen. Um, the Northern parts of Sweden, they'd want to stay with the Finnish parts, but they did not get annexed. So we're gonna see what's left of Sweden go into a bloody civil war around these areas, around the strategic points. And most of these are just Finnish leftovers that didn't want to join with Sweden, or did want to but weren't granted the ability to. So they're quite angry, or hangy, but we do see some of these areas try a peace, but well, afterwards has just happened. Peace is like a question more than a option. So, what will happen? This will happen. Most of these rebellions just don't have the steam anymore. What of which they had before. The people don't like them anymore. They just want peace, and this just happens to be like this. So yeah, but this ends the video here. I did promise you guys. I I don't know if I did promise you anything, but I think I'm gonna promise you this, guys. We're gonna see the French Civil War because you maybe some of you have maybe noticed, but well, not noticed or have noticed. Those who have noticed that there are two more areas that want their independence. One is Belgium, and the other is the English Normandy. This calls itself English Normandy. This is just Normandy, and Normandy and have uh, Burgundy have taken back a lot of land. And you can see that we are going to see a very intense demographic here. Also, for those who have also barely noticed, Quebec gave up this part of land, so to these guys, of course. If you guys want to know what's the current demographics here, the Botswanas are trying diplomacy. The NSW is trying to help its ally here get some more land. Madagascar is in a bloody civil war. I can say that. We won't look at that. That will take too much time. But Australia is trying to reintegrate its aboriginal areas, which isn't working. Tasmania is trying its best to retry and take these areas, but it's not working. I thought I already did this. These guys should be united in a way. Why aren't they? You know what? I'm just gonna keep them like this. I don't wanna just give this guy some land because I'm quite lazy currently. I don't want to do a lot. My legs hurt, so yeah. Yeah. So we'll look next time at something else. But thank you guys for watching. I know I did this before, and now I'm doing it at the end of the videos. But please subscribe. It helps me out a ton. We saw how the Caucasian War went. Also, Azerbaijan has been very fucked up. I can say that much. I think this is the Communist Party of. No, this is the Free Kazakhstani people, and I don't know. These are the Caucasian. No, these are the Dagestanis that went here. They rose up and took over that. So Dagestan has a small exclave. So what can do? But we will see a lot happen in the next video in Europe and other parts of the world. Thank you guys for watching. You guys were the best for other reasons, and you are the best for a lot of reasons. And thank you for all the support. It helps me out a ton. And I'll see you in the next video. So yeah, bye.